Hey guys, it's Sam, and this is my spoiler-free review of Godsgrave by Jay Kristoff. This is the second book in the Nevernight trilogy. If you have not read this book, I will leave my review for the first book, Nevernight, on the screen, because I will not have any spoilers for this book in this review, but I might reference things that might be spoilery for the first book. This book is also my Patreon book pick for the month, so every month my Patreon supporters get to vote in a poll for a book that I'll read and review that month, and also we have a Patreon exclusive Discord now, so they really get my thoughts for the book pick earlier than everybody else because we have a group read where we're all reading the book and talking about it if you want to participate in that. So if you want almost like bonus additional content sooner and to contribute to the books that I'll read and review each month, I will link my Patreon on the screen. So this book picks up a little bit of time after the events of the first book. Mia is working as a blade and she ends up encountering a scenario in which she can obtain her own revenge, which is what she's been seeking since the first book and the reason she became an assassin in the first place. So we actually get two timelines at the beginning of the book with her leading up to that plot and then starting that plot, and everything kind of goes from there. So first off, we talk about the world building. We get some additional world building in this book. What I really like about this series actually that some people don't like is the footnotes. So there are footnotes in this book, not on every page, but fairly often, and a lot of people complain about the footnotes. I think the footnotes give a really great element of world building. There's just so much backstory that makes the world feel so much richer to me, so even though a lot of people don't like the footnotes, I definitely do. What I also liked about this world is that we get a change from the assassin school and the assassin way, and in this there is a big like gladiator kind of style of story. So we have her pursuing this sort of gladiator world, and that is so fun and so cool. I do love a good assassin story, but I also love a good gladiator fighter story, so the fact that we get both in one book was like chef's kiss to me. We also get to hear a little bit about some different races. There's one kind of race that sort of pops up as like a side thing in here, but that was really cool and just not something that I've seen a lot in different fantasies lately. So I always like when there's races that are still like humanoid but different, like vastly different, because that's the fun of fantasy. Next, I talk about our characters. I really enjoyed the arc that Mia goes through in this. I really find just the overall series arc she's going through, as well as the arcs that she goes through in each book, to be really good. This definitely is a grimdark adult story, and I enjoy that it doesn't shy away from that at all, and that all the characters really are morally gray. Like, it's not like, oh, we say they're morally gray, but like they're doing like okay. No! All the characters are morally gray. Mia's really learning throughout this book that all of the people that she has loved throughout her life, currently and in the past, like all of them have an element of being good and bad, and that everyone is more than what they seem, including her, and I just really like those kinds of stories and just the arc in general that she's going through. Also, we get a ton of side characters in here that are just so good. I really like the way that Jay Kristoff just incorporates all these side characters. Everyone feels fully fleshed out. A lot of people, I would say, compare this series to the Book of the Ancestor series by Mark Lawrence. Both of these series I highly enjoyed. I think they are very different, and in one way I think they're different is that I actually prefer the side characters in this series to the side characters in that series, just because I feel that they are just so much more fleshed out and I just remember all of them. Lastly, let me talk about the plot. Like I said, I liked that there were two storylines here. Now, if you're not somebody that likes flashbacks, the flashbacks are only like the first third of the book, but we do get a portion where we have this flashback to what happened before and then what's happening currently with the sort of quest that she's currently on, and I enjoyed both stories. Like, I enjoyed seeing the backstory and I enjoyed seeing what was currently happening, and it wasn't like one or the other. I was like, oh, I want to get back to the other thing. I always was wanting to know what's happening in both timelines, which is, in my opinion, the sign of a good timeline. This book also provided me with more questions than answers, which I'm fine with, but there was a lot of things that you got like some more information on, but ultimately there's so many things that I just have so many questions about. The last, I'd say like 30% of the book, like I just could not put this book down. I enjoyed the book the whole time. The whole time it was compelling and interesting, but that last bit of like the last 30%, I could not put it down. I had to keep going. I had to know what was going to happen, and it was just like twist after twist that I didn't predict. And honestly, I feel like if you go to these books trying to predict the twists, you're just like ruining the time for you. But I really enjoyed all of the twists. I don't think that they're super predictable at all. I don't feel like any of these characters have plot armor at all, which I also find really interesting, and it was just a very fun time. If you don't already know, this book does have major cliffhangers, multiple major cliffhangers, so if you aren't into cliffhangers, just definitely have that next book ready for yourself. But I went into this already knowing that there was cliffhangers, so I was prepared before that. But ultimately, I really enjoyed this story, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I will be doing a spoilery gush for this book, so I will link that on the screen if you've read this book and want to check that out. So comment below, let me know your thoughts on Godsgrave. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye!